Hello everyone, Kristina here with your Divine Love reading for December 19th through the 25th. Happy holidays, Merry Mercury retrograde, and happy solstice. A lot going on this week, and actually I just have to tell you before I get into any of the cards, it is so much better than last week. I mean, the energy is gentler, even though there's still kind of some residual stuff going on. We're not going to get yelled at this week. and there actually is some kind of promising and hopeful, optimistic looking stuff around communication, even with the Mercury retrograde. So before I get into all of that, I do want to announce a new reading that I am offering. It is a $55 divine timing roadmap specifically tailored to your union. You've probably heard a lot of other readers talking about, this 1221 portal and the different waves and all of those things like that, and, kind of making promises about magical dates. And the thing is, we have so much free will, and there's so many different individual factors going on in everybody's unions that it's probably more practical to get an individualized reading specifically to your union if you'd like to get a much clearer picture of what needs to happen for you. So that is $55, information down below. And let's go ahead and just do this because I'm so excited. Okay, so starting with us on our side. We have the Six of Skies. This is the energy currently surrounding us. And so when the spread is laid out on the table, this bird is actually looking over toward our partner. And this is a little bit of echoing of that Lovers card that we had last week. So it's like we're moving away from kind of the rougher waters, or, like from one shore over to the next shore to, we're moving on to the next thing, but right now our next thing, we're just really still a little preoccupied with our counterpart. Even though we are in general moving forward, kind of moving on, getting on with our own lives, right? But this is, and they're not even really being like, about it, like the guides are not being impatient or annoyed with us about it. They're just saying like, okay, so they're on your mind. Of course they are. And because now you know that there's going through stuff, and but yeah, continue, flying in your sky and do that. And there's not nearly the amount of impatience and like a hey, stay in your lane. It's like, you can still look around. There's still a landscape around you. You can be in your car. I'm like the master of these terrible, terrible analogies this week. But anyway, this is, our energy is that we're moving forward, and that's the bottom line, which is the most important. Pulling us away from union, though, we have transformation. And it seems a little bit counterintuitive that this would be something that pulls us away, but this is actually about considering what happened last week. I mean, I don't know what happened for you guys, but I got as much as I wanted to stay in my lane, like things came to my lane. Okay, so like a lot of things came to my lane, but this is about when a butterfly is trying to emerge from its cocoon, sometimes an onlooker, a well-wishing, well-intentioned onlooker will try to help that butterfly. And so they'll start kind of peeling away the chrysalis to help the butterfly. But the problem with that is that there are enzymes and things that don't get activated in the butterfly's wings unless they use them. Like they have to use that strength to break out of their own cocoon. And if you help them and they don't get to do that, then they die. The suffering is purposeful. The pain and discomfort that your counterpart is going through is purposeful. So your The thing that draws us away from union, the thing that draws us away from divine love is our do-goodery, our desire to help, our desire to alleviate any kind of pain or discomfort for them. And, remember, think about what your path was up to this point. We had to suffer. We had our own dark night of the soul that we had to go through in order to get on this path to begin with. I'm thinking specifically, I remember what it was for me, the moment that I really got on this path. Like, it was very clear that everything that I had built up around me was not working for me. And it took me a little bit longer to kind of dismantle everything because I was very resistant. What we resist persists, right? But, it was like my dog died. And I know that seems like so stupid, to people who aren't dog lovers, but when my dog died, it destroyed me, and I was messed up by that one incident for so long. But it also just shook up my entire, the lenses that I use to look at the world. And, and it was just I'm not going to say it was just a dog, but to anybody else, it's like it was just a dog. They're having their just a dog moment, okay? And actually, probably whatever happened for your people next week, it was, I don't even think other people, people from outside observers would say it was just a dog. I mean, they are having a moment that is incredibly transformative, and it is so very necessary for them. So, we're not getting the same stay in your lane, message like we had last week, but this is just telling us, you can you can be an anchoring kind of energy in their world, because remember, we have this connection, so we don't have to be 3D contact to still have the connection and provide just supportive presence energy for them as they're going through this. But we definitely cannot be putting our hands on their cocoon and trying to help them get out of there. It's no, they got to stay in there for a while. The transformation doesn't happen unless they're in there. Okay, so it's gentler. I feel so much lighter about this, and it's almost like, whatever you did, whatever happened last week, does seem like I said, last week it was going to be harsher for us. It would be much we would experience, our attempts to stay put or sit on our hands would be very uncomfortable for us. But it seems like we kind of got through that hard space, and now we're just okay, but keep going with that, right? This is what's drawing us toward union. This is the Queen of Farms. And I really just like that her face is kind of like the energy that I was getting last week and kind of pushing out toward the screen. But it's she's just and this is our guys just going, right? Stay in your lane, right? But really, this is, for advice for us, this is about us just, being grounded in our strength. We know what we're supposed to do, but we're folding our hands, our arms. We're not rushing off to the other, even though we might be a little bit tempted to, and we are definitely we've got an amount of our attention going that way, and they're saying that this week that's okay. You can be mindful of them because, and I'm not even joking, last week, as soon as I turned off the camera, I got a text message about just chaos. So, and it was pretty major. So, it's what I'm getting this week is it's okay to just be kind of mindful of it, but you don't need to get involved. Okay. And this isn't more of that. I don't need to get involved. I'm over here in my lane, just kind of being in my strength. And the Queen of Farms, I just really like this because she's tilling her own field. That's really all it is. It's go do your stuff. You've got the life that you're building. If you remember the monthly reading, we had 2 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Coins on our side. They've got 2 on their side. So I am, and I would say that it's mostly positive. The 10 of Pentacles is a hard card to make negative, but we'll get over there. So This is just saying, you know, okay, continue to kind of have your discipline about being in your lane, and also just being that stable grounding energy for them. Just be stable grounding energy. You don't need to get involved. Okay. This is, oh, you guys, I'm trying so hard not to be like totally out of my skin about this. Okay, so our masculine and feminine energies are, the feminine energy guiding us this week is Lilith, and her keyword is equality. And this is actually what I'm really getting. I mean, this is Lilith as an energy is very similar to this Queen of Farms. She's a strong woman with this very commanding presence, but she's also about balance and this kind of groundedness. And that is that's the feminine that we should be bringing forward this week. This is where things start to get kind of awesome and a little bit like, ooh, okay, like, ooh, how do I use this information well? Our masculine energy is Hermes, and he is a god. Okay, so his keyword is communication. There's a lot of communication cards this week. He's also, okay, in addition to being a messenger of the gods, which I would say for us, like as an energy that's guiding us, this is a little bit of like, have faith that that any 5D communication we want to send their way, and even 3D communication, we need to send it into spirit first, and then let them kind of be the messenger, and they'll kind of do whatever editing that they need to do on it, and then send it over to our counterpart in a form that is the best form that they can actually hear and do something with. Okay. Now the other energy for this god is that he's also a psychopomp. And if you don't know what that is, this is a person, they're also known as death walkers, or like a death doula. But basically, like once a soul has transitioned, a psychopomp will help that soul, kind of the newly departed soul, kind of navigate their way to kind of where they're supposed to go next. And for some of you out there, this might be an ability, because it's coming in this week, this might be an ability, if you don't already know that you have it, this will be an ability that might present itself to you this week. And this is actually why we have to stay really grounded, and kind of this is very brave and courageous energy. So if you are, kind of maybe approached by transitioning souls, you have to hold on to this this strong grounded feminine energy, and then also you can call on Hermes to help you with that process, and your own guides, of course, too. But yeah, so like those are two kind of, in some ways, they're almost two very different aspects of the same card. We are coming into Mercury retrograde on the 19th, and it lasts until January 8th, I think. I think that's the date, or the 9th. And so, this communication, we have 3 communication cards. And so I'm just going to say this here too. If in the general sense that I'm getting about this, comes with a lot of caution about actually reaching out in the 3D to our counterparts. But if you would like clarity about your individual situation, then I'll just suggest like getting a quick pick, like one of my 1 or 3 card readings, so you can get a sense of like whether it's a good idea and or how to go about it if reaching out and communicating is something that should happen for you right now. Okay, so now I'm moving to our counterparts side, and their current energies surrounding them is the 8 of Forests. This is good, you guys. First of all, bamboo it grows very fast. It's a sustainable material, mostly because it grows so fast. It can regenerate very quickly. It's a very strong wood too, so it's durable. This growth, this transformation that they're doing this week, or that they're continuing to do this week, it's gonna stick. This thing, whatever the circumstances were for you and your counterpart, whatever they're doing right now, this is the kind of thing that helps them to regenerate in strength. It's not just a mere kind of getting through it. I mean, they really are going to reemerge much stronger, healthier, and it will be a durable kind of change that they undergo. There was something else that they wanted me to say about this, and it was connected to this card. So, all right, well, it left, so obviously it wasn't that important. Oh, yeah, we can't intervene. If we intervene, it weakens this. So just know that we might be getting impatient for them, but this is really wonderful, especially if you watched the December reading, like the monthly reading. That the place where they're at right now is planting seeds for strong new growth. This is incredibly encouraging. All right, now, what's drawing them away is the Ten of Farms. This is the Ten of Pentacles. You can see there's this rainbow, and actually the way I read, I know that I'm actually being shown this card. So part of it, okay, there are two kind of adjacent messages about this card, or coming from this card. One of the things that may be drawing them away from divine love is their expectations for what the pretty picture of happily ever after looks like. And what I mean by this is so not the fairy tale happy ending, but what success looks like. They have if they had that Ace of Pentacles in their for the monthly reading as the new energy, the new opportunity that they have. And the thing is, what they're finding is, and I think I actually said this, is that so they're getting everything they want materially, and they're figuring out that it's not enough. And they are no longer lying to themselves about dollar amounts or well, if I just make more, they are past the point of thinking that it's about money. I mean, they have so much more than what they could ever need or spend, and they're still like, God, this doesn't, I'm not any happier. I still have all of my same garbage sitting in the corner. Maybe I should just go look in that corner. Okay, so that's one version of what this card is telling you. The other version of this is also saying that one of the other things that might be drawing them away, and this might have to do with what happened last week, is so their family, they have family stuff. So this could be extended family, this could be birth or adopted family. There's something going on in kind of their larger familial unit that is bringing up stuff for them that they now have to address. And some of that abundance stuff is also kind of related to this. It has roots in that early family, whatever the early family dynamics were. So the wanting, their desire to draw a pretty picture, maybe that's not an accident either. But their desire to draw a pretty picture, and their unwillingness up to this point to kind of acknowledge the difference between the pretty picture and the reality, that's coming to an end. I feel like it's coming to an end this week, and it's also, and their continued denial about that difference is what pulls them away. But
because they have the same card up at in the top portion, what's bringing them to or toward union. So let me just show you what they have. They have the Page of Seas. This is a card about messages, communication. The page is the messenger. And when you see what we had in the energy of the union, I'm not even joking, you guys. I'm like, I almost want to just like show you all the cards right now, and then we'll just like go, oh my God, can you believe it? Right? So I'm trying to keep myself under control. I'm trying to do this, but I'm not doing a very good job of it. Okay. This is about messages, and but these are messages of love, messages from the heart. I think in this case it's about them finally listening to, the messages that their heart has been trying to send them this whole time about things like this, or whatever their stuff is, whatever whatever they use to build their big pile of bullshit. Like, they are getting they're turning and looking at it now. For a small portion of people who are watching, this may actually be them reaching out to you. And this is why I was like, I need to pull another card for that, because I don't want to start running away with this. Like, I didn't want to get too excited about this. So I pulled, and I went to my like heavy hitting, no bullshit deck, and I got the 10 of Pentacles. And not only did I get the 10 of Pentacles, but I was like, that's the same as that other card, but that doesn't really tell me much. Like, I was confused, and so I said, okay, but give me a clearer card than that, right? I say that. I put it back in the deck. I start to shuffle. And like, it jumped out the first time, and then it jumped out a second time, and I was like, oh crap, I guess I have to just interpret this one now. And so these two together, I really had to sit with this. These two together, I think it might help to see all three. So you see how this is lush, and it's rainbows, and it's so magical, right? This is about them stripping it back down to soil. Okay, they are really this is mostly about them listening to their heart and, stripping away all of the pretty picture part and going back to the soil and going, what is going to make my heart happy? What do my material conditions need to look like in order for me to be fulfilled? The other thing with this page is that, in the court cards, the page is the lowest ranking one. They tend to indicate younger or less experienced people. And so this is very new for them, which is absolutely why we cannot intervene in them figuring this out. If they reach out to you, great, that's fantastic. But this is not for us to be, reaching out to them. But like I said, if you're kind of on the fence and you're not sure if you've been getting other signs and other nudges to reach out to them, then I would say, like, get an individual reading and, just get one of the quick ones. You don't have to do a whole comprehensive thing, unless you want to. But yeah, this does seem to be, these are you guys, they're getting in touch with their own heart. That's where divine love sits. That's where it lives. This is wonderful, wonderful news. And what's really important and great about it is that we're not involved. Like, they get there on their own. And so we don't have to carry the weight of being like the messenger of it or the keeper of it, so that if they're, as they're struggling to kind of get here and figure it out and stay connected to it, that struggle, they won't make this mistake of like blaming us for their struggle. Like, well, this isn't worth it because, like, being in this love thing isn't worth it, and now it's your fault because you're the one who brought this to me. No, they're arriving there on their own, and that is what makes it so much stronger. That makes their connection to it stronger,
and ultimately will make, you know, if there is a 3D union that comes in for you and them, which it's so much the better. And then of course, like I told you, I was concerned that I was going to misread this card because I would just be too excited and wanted to see what I wanted to see. So I pulled one more card, and it's the star card from that Da Vinci deck. And the keyword here is, and I don't think you're going to be able to see it, the keyword is way shower. And again, this one isn't us this time. We're not being their guiding star. They are doing this by themselves. And it's so important that they're doing that. Shoot, I'm not going to cry. Okay, here we go. It's that they are finding their own light. They're finding their own navigation. I mean, they're doing this for themselves, and what they're figuring out is that they can listen to their heart and let that be their guide. You know, they're stripping down all of the facade, all of the costuming. Like they're going right back down to the soil. And they're going to plant anew. This is the time for it. You know, we're in the solstice period. This is, you know, when the, you know, the fall plantings, this is all that germination stage. So this is, you guys, it's such a relief to see, and such a hopeful, just such a hopeful message to be getting about kind of where they're headed and how they're being drawn toward union. Okay, and now they're masculine and feminine. The masculine energy is Aries, the god of war. Their feminine is Kuan Yin, and her keyword here is compassion. And you know what I'm getting from these two is actually about, some of you may have a twin who's got some PTSD, or, you know, like, maybe they're a veteran, or some, like there's a military involvement, or they have a past that includes violence. Okay, there's violence and trauma somewhere in their past. That's really what this card is about. And what they're doing, what's coming in is they're the divine feminine aspect of themselves. They are coming into some forgiveness around whatever this trauma was. They are having a lot more compassion for themselves as they figure out, like, oh, that's not for me. I need to listen to my heart. Like, their heart is leading the way this week. I'm trying really hard not to just like be all gushing and like, you guys, it's happening. You know, this is an incredibly important turning point for them. Like, just, it's wonderful. This is really wonderful. Even though we gotta stay clear. All right. The current energies of the union this week, 2 cards came out. And I'm not even joking with you. The Messenger and Love. That was this. That's a messenger of love. This is a messenger of love. This is a messenger. This is why it's really important that we are very tempered in in how we handle this information. Okay? For the general audience, okay, this is a general reading. My reading on this, what I'm getting on this, is that all of the, you know, like these messages from the heart, from ours and their own, are reaching them. They're hearing it. They're receiving it. They're finally, it's like, look, oops. Okay. So you can see this, like the halo kind of around this angel's head. This is their light bulb moment. The light bulb finally goes on where they go, love. This whole time, love was the answer, right? I mean, they are having that aha moment. And it's beautiful. Okay. And then I also pulled a soul card because I really wanted to not get too carried away with all of these messengers that we have. And I'm serious, you guys. I really, for the general reading, I really do feel like, and I'm going to even say this for me personally, I think the message for us as a population, as well as myself, this is me holding myself accountable, is to actually stay in my own lane, to not reach out, to not, not be in 3D in their face. Okay. Here's the soul card. This is what, at the soul level, what's going on between us. That's why you don't have to reach out. This is almost another version of that balance card that we had 2 weeks ago, where it's like, now it's not even about them, like us being in their ear. This is just about the mutuality of like both partners carrying each other, like being connected and bonded to each other. You don't have to do anything. Isn't that, and that's so counter. It's like, we don't have to do anything. We just, still have to stay in our lane, but it doesn't feel nearly as conflicted this time around, like this week. It doesn't, we don't have as much conflict around like the not reaching out. Okay. And, our advice this week, I just have to laugh too at this. The advice this week is turn on your heart light. And this is about being the lighthouse again. Like, I feel like last week, when we had that Hecate, I practiced. We had that Hecate card. Oh wait, now I don't even, Hecate. There it is, Hecate. Man. We had that Hecate card about illumination and shining our light for them who was the Persephone in that dark underworld and needed the light to follow. They've gotten through the hardest part, and now they're shining their own light. They're following their own light. And for us, it's just, we just shine our light too, but it's not as, we're not, like, our heart light is not as proximate to them. I don't know how to explain that. For whatever version or amount you may have, like however that looked for you, the shining of your light last week, they're saying, like, you're gonna continue that, but it will be you'll be more distant from whatever their situation was, but you'll still keep shining your light, and they'll totally see it, because this is what the union looks like. This is what it looks like. Yeah, it's. I will read the subtext or whatever. It says, allow yourself in this moment to reflect on a time when you experienced love. I think that's relevant for a smaller portion of people. Like, the turning on of the heart light this is about, connecting to the energy of divine love. Some of you out there actually may have felt this before. And I don't mean about the connection to your partner. I mean, like, you have observed others who are in it, and by your mere presence and observation, you were able to experience, like, in your body, the feeling of divine love. And so they're wanting you to kind of go back to that moment and remember how that feels, and turn on your heart light so that you can keep yourself aligned with that. Like, remember that all of this stuff that's going on between you and your twin, and all of it is to help us stay connected to that incredible energy. And, the more that we stay there and we keep our vibration, connected and lit in that way, they start doing it too. Like, it's babyest steps, but they're doing it. They're having their transformation, and our job is to not intervene in that, so that they can grow their own wings, that their wings have strength, and that they can, they can keep going, and they can flourish in their own lives. And that they can you know, it's like, and so that they can be, and not even say, it's not even about being an equal partner in the divine love. It's like the divine love energy becomes magnified exponentially when they come to it themselves too, and they know what that intense energy feels like. And so when the two of you come together, I mean, it's like that thing in Ghostbusters, you know? I mean, it's incredible what is going to happen, because they are going to be able to maintain their own connection to what that divine love is. Okay. I did pull one more card because I just felt like we all could use just a spoonful of honey especially after last week. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but it was like a combination of things with clients having hard things, me personally having hard things, people in my life, and then my partner having really, really difficult stuff. It was like just a ton of it. And so I was trying to figure out, like, well, maybe I'll pull a healing card, and I ended up pulling a Rumi card. And I will say, like, I don't tend to use the Rumi Oracle in readings for other people. This guidebook is so beautifully written. I just feel like if I as a reader tried to intervene as like an interpreter in any way, it just undermines the incredibly beautiful words here. So what I'm going to do, I did pull a Rumi card. This is our spoonful of sugar, our spoonful of honey. It is number 7, Blood Angel. And I'm going to read the poem, only the poem. Because like I said, I mean, the whole book, this entire guidebook is so beautifully written, but I will just say this. Okay, so here we go. In the midst of the darkness, a moon appeared with its brilliance. Stepping down from the clouds, it glanced at me. Like a falcon that hunts a bird and steals it away, it captured me and flew back to infinite space. As I looked for myself, I could not find me, for my body had become all soul in the tenderness of love. The 9 spheres of heaven dissolved in that moon as the ship of my existence drowned in the sea of love. And the reason this is so perfect, I love that this is the card that came out because, you know, last week we were talking about being a lighthouse. And this week it's about turning on your heart light. We're going to continue being the lighthouse while our partner is, you know, kind of lost at sea a little bit. But you have to know that the sea, it's a sea of love, and this is how they come back to life. Okay? For whatever is going on for them on their side, this is how they connect to, like, capital L life and capital L love. It's incredibly beautiful. I was on the verge of crying a lot during this reading, but I kept it together. Anyway, guys, beautiful, beautiful energy this week. Even though, you know, it's still going to look like a little bit of like them being in the woods or them being kind of out at sea and us having to kind of stay away still. There are some hints at communication, and we are in Mercury retrograde, so, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some kind of communication that happens between you. But like I said, if you're feeling if you're having any lack of clarity about that or indecision about, am I supposed to do something or not do something, or I'll just suggest getting just a quick pick reading so you can like figure out if you're supposed to do anything or if something's coming to you, and how to handle it, because, you know, we are Mercury retrograde and it does wreak a little havoc on communication. So, but just know that, wow, they're connecting to love. We're not part of it right now. And I don't mean like, you know, that we're not, it's not that we're not part of it. I mean, we are, but I mean, like, we're not their escort on this one. They discovered on their own. And think about the times when you've discovered something on their own and how much more it means to you, how much more ownership you have over it because you found it by yourself. That's what's happening for them. It's wonderful. All right, you guys, that does it for this week. Just another reminder that divine timing reading that is newly being offered, $55 on my website, and I'll leave that information down below. Take care, everyone. See you next week.